Last week, our Capitol correspondent Jason Doyle introduced us to some of Oklahoma's newly elected lawmakers. This week, Jason introduces us to some of the pieces of legislation they'll be considering when the next session convenes in February. Jason?
Rich, the first deadline for the 59th Oklahoma legislature is this week. Lawmakers had to submit their ideas for bills. The proposals range from reforming agency oversight to stopping certain medical procedures from being performed on people under 21.
Now I'm looking forward to the session.
Senator Roger Thompson has the job of managing legislation with a price tag through the Oklahoma Senate. He's entering his 5th year as the chairman of the Senate Appropriations Committee. That committee, along with its House counterpart, prepares the state budget, and that work is underway.
We'll bring the agencies in for hearing, and we'll take a look at all of their requests. We'll take a look at their federal funding, their state funding, what their requests may be, and ask them to justify that request. And then we'll put that through the committee process.
While crafting the budget is the primary mission for the legislature each session, lawmakers also address policy, like the one involving people under 21 wanting to undergo treatment for gender transition. Representative Jim Olson has introduced legislation to prevent that kind of service from being offered in Oklahoma.
My bill, House Bill 1011, is an effort to just kind of close the whole thing down for children and teenagers. Anybody else who might be involved with it or might be doing it, we're saying, let's just stop this for children and teenagers.
This is in reaction to Governor Stitt's mandate to stop the practice of youth gender transition procedures. He and others made that call during the special session, which allocated federal relief funds to OU health programs.
As we were allocating the ARPA funds, we basically told OU that this gender transition program stops. And in doing that and passing SB 3, we probably stopped most of the gender transitioning that was occurring in the state.
Olson contends that he's trying to protect young people from making a decision they might later regret.
Our teenagers are vulnerable, perhaps they feel inadequate, and then the gender activists get with them and say, well, what you need to do is change your gender. Now, our children and teenagers need care and love and gentle guidance. They do not need to change their gender.
Olson also is proposing to lower the age a person in Oklahoma can legally own and carry a handgun.
Basically, it would amend our constitutional carry bill that we passed in 2018. And so it would allow 18, 19, and 20-year-olds who right now can buy long guns, but they would be able to buy and carry handguns if they so desired.
Oklahoma already allows military members who are under 21 and over 18 to own and carry handguns. Olson has a reason why he wants to lower the age for handgun ownership while putting an age restriction in place for gender transition procedures.
Why 118? Why 121? The 21, just to restate, the reason that requirement is a little stiffer is because there are long-term effects that you usually cannot undo. The other one, it is a specifically enumerated. The Second Amendment is a specifically enumerated constitutional right.
In the Oklahoma Senate, Senator Thompson has his own priorities outside the budget. He wants to reform the Tourism and Recreation Commission.
During the former setup, that commission worked at the will of the governor, and so he could remove and put commissioners back in place. My bill adds a caveat that the commissioners can only be removed for cause. And outside of that, the governor will still nominate the commissioners. The Senate will still have hearings on those commissioners. We'll still confirm those commissioners as they go to work.
Additionally, the commission will be able to determine who the tourism department's executive director is instead of the governor. Thompson says his bill is meant to address issues like those surrounding the contracts between the tourism department and Swadley's barbecue restaurants concerning the state park restaurants.
Well, I think whenever you look at tourism, and it's a great economic driver, as you know from the Loft report, we've had a little difficulty with some of the contracts that have been issued through tourism. We just need more eyes on those contracts.
Lawmakers get their ideas for bills from several different places, including the Oklahoma Institute for Child Advocacy, which provides its legislative agenda to House and Senate members.
We issued it to the lawmakers about a week before the deadline to see if any of them might have an interest, and we've already had some response back. So we're looking forward to hopefully what will be a good session as far as children's policy.
Dorman says his organization also supports suggestions from the governor's HELP Task Force.
So the suggestions of what's coming from the governor's HELP Task Force, that dealing with expectant mothers, providing opportunities to help them with their pregnancy and make things more affordable, we certainly have supported each of those ideas that have come out so far in the early stages.
While ideas can come from outside sources, some lawmakers have been working on issues for a while now, like Senator Blake Cowboy Stevens, who's working on locking the clock in Oklahoma.
It's the first bill I started working on, and I started working on it before I actually got elected. Something that's really near and dear to my heart. Just makes sense.
Stevens wants to keep an hour of sunlight at the end of the day. He says locking the clock would have its benefits, including for our children's health.
Trying to lock our clocks on daylight saving time, which is our winter months, that we're off of daylight saving time onto standard time. That's the intent of the bill.
Lawmakers have about a month now to refine the language of their proposed bills. The next legislative session will kick off with the governor's State of the State address on February 6. In other news from the Capitol, Governor Kevin Stitt issued an executive order this week banning the social media app TikTok from state-issued phones, computers, and other internet-connected devices. Stitt says because the app shares information with the Chinese Communist Party, it is a threat to the state's cybersecurity.